Welcome back, coders. Today we're going to be continuing our journey to convert this basic application that we created in the last video into the final product one chapter at a time. In today's video, we're going to be adding the layout, the basic markup to give us something where we can structure our UI. And for this, we're going to be using a few tags. Get comfortable and let's get started. I'm going to be adding a main section, and inside the main, there are other sections that I want to add. In this case, I want a header. I also want a left aside and the main content inside an article, a right aside, and finally a footer. With this, you're going to have the basic structure so that you can place your components. Okay, so after adding the markup, this is how the page looks. It has all the sections we want, but we're still missing a bit of the style. For the style, we're going to be adding a link to the font from Google APIs and also a link to our style sheet. Okay, so we're going to be creating a file alongside our index.html called openai-api.css. That's the same file we linked in the index.html. In this, we're going to be setting some basic styles. For every component, for every item, we're going to be having a margin of 0, padding of 0, and the border radius of 3 pixels. And for the body, we're going to have the margin on top and bottom be 0, and the left and right be auto. I have also set a maxed width and min width that has been tested with different devices and up to 4K displays, and this looks fine. For the box sizing, we have border box, and I have also added the font that we added in the index.html from Google APIs. Okay, for the main, we have a display grid that will place our items inside a matrix and inside a grid. And for this, I have set the grid template columns to be auto one fraction auto. That means the left and right columns will be auto calculated and the center is one fraction. I've done the same with grid template rows. So top and bottom rows will be auto calculated and the center is one fraction. I have also set some sensible measurements for gaps and heights and margins that make sense in this case. The header and the footer, instead of it being separated in columns, they will span all 3 columns. So they will go from line 1 up to line 4 in our grid. 4 minus 1 gives us 3 columns. For the header, aside, and footer, I have set it to display flex. We're going to be aligning our items in the center, justifying the content in the center, and anything that exceeds the amount of space we have on the line will wrap around. That's why we have the height auto and flex wrap. Any extra space will be spaced evenly around our items. For the article, we're going to still have it display flex, align the items in the center, and justify the content. One more thing is the list items that we have on the left side and right side. I'm going to remove the styling so we won't have any bullet points or numbering. And finally, a media query that will instruct our asides and articles to span all 3 columns if the width is under 700 pixels. How all of this looks like, we can see by refreshing our page. In this case, now we have the header and the footer, the left aside and right aside, And the main content, this is 1 fraction width and 1 fraction height. These are auto calculated, so if we put less content on the left side and right side, then they will shrink. The same will happen with the header. To test our media query, we can inspect, and we can either expand or contract so that we see it changing. In this case, you can see that when it reaches 700 pixels, the left side, right side, and main content will span 3 columns. As you can see in the final product, we have the same layout with a border layout with a header, the footer, the left side. In this case, I have a single dot, and the right side with a single dot. And in the center, I have placed my web component. So that's why it spans the whole width and height. In the next videos, I'm gonna be creating a basic API, and we're going to start creating the web component. And that's it. We're done with the basic layout of the application. Thanks for watching. Happy coding!